Welcome, and thank you for viewing our Dual Language Immersion Program presentation, presented by the East Central Independent School District. Let's begin with the district process for pre-K kinder enrollment into the East Central Dual Language Immersion Program. First, we ask that parents and/or guardians complete the registration process. Second, parents and/or guardians must view this PowerPoint presentation prior to enrollment and complete the DLI intent form at the end of the presentation. Next, the bilingual department will send an email or mail a letter of acceptance to the parents and/or guardians. Fourth, once school begins, students identified as emergent bilinguals, EB, will receive a parental approval letter through the Language Proficiency Assessment Committee, also known as the LPAC. This letter will need to be signed and returned to the campus. Also, English proficient EP students will receive a parent commitment letter. This letter will also need to be signed and returned to the campus. There is an extensive history of bilingual educational programs in our country, but for the sake of time, we will condense that history into 2 slides. It's important to know that our bilingual programs were originally designed to support emergent bilingual students. Emergent bilingual students, also referred to as EBs, are students that qualify for bilingual services based on their English language proficiency. By law, every student that registers in a public school fills out a home language survey, often referred to as an HLS. This legal document poses 2 important questions. Number 1, what language is spoken in the child's home most of the time? Number 2, what language does the child speak most of the time? If any of these questions reflect another language, for example, Spanish, the form triggers testing. These students will be tested to measure their level of English proficiency. If their English proficiency is below the state expectation, the LPAC will review the documentation and determine if the student is eligible for classification as an emergent bilingual student. If the student is eligible, the LPAC will make their recommendation for program placement and offer program services. Previously, the programs that were mainly offered were called transitional programs. In a transitional program, emergent bilingual students were instructed in Spanish to transfer to English. Spanish was used as a catapult to develop students' English proficiency. Research refers to these programs as subtractive because the end goal was for students to only become English proficient. Now, let's think about high school and those requirements. Students were and are still required to take a foreign language. So for these emergent bilingual students, Spanish was subtracted to then later be required to learn a foreign language that could have been Spanish for their high school credit. As knowledge expanded, programs evolved and began to still develop the English language and maintain the Spanish language. Research now referred to these programs as additive programs because students were now maintaining their Spanish and adding English, therefore truly becoming bilingual. Please be reminded that this program was still only for emergent bilingual students. This opportunity of developing as bilinguals was then offered to English proficient students. This brings us to our present program, Dual Language Immersion Two-Way. The goal of the two-way dual language immersion program is for participants to attain full proficiency in two languages. This model provides ongoing instruction in literacy and academic content in both languages, with at least half of the instruction delivered in Spanish for the duration of the program. In order for our program to be successful, there are some critical features that we must consider. These are the program model design, the staffing and professional development provided, our instructional design, which includes lesson planning and curriculum, the instructional decisions made in regards to methods and resources, and family and community engagement at our campuses. Important to mention is that the number of participating English proficient students depends on the number of emergent bilingual students. The law requires that the number of English proficient students shall not exceed 40% of the number of students enrolled in the program district-wide. Therefore, some critical features of our dual language classrooms that we strive to maintain include a balance of language groups, both Spanish and English speakers, maintain fidelity to the instructional model and language of instruction, our 80-20 model. The target language is Spanish and gradually moves to a 50-50 allocation of English and Spanish by 4th and 5th grades. A separation of languages for instruction while utilizing metalinguistic and cross-linguistic connections and focusing on non-transferable skills, as well as language and literacy instruction in both languages that focuses on academic and social language development. You might hear comments comparing different models of instruction, and it's important that you be informed about what model we offer here at eCentral. Two of the most popular programs are the 90-10 model, which means that 90% of the instruction is in Spanish and 10% of the instruction is in English. And the 50-50 model, whereby 50% of the instruction is in Spanish and 50% of the instruction is in English. Here at eCentral, we have an 80-20 model. This means that 80% of the instruction is in Spanish and 20% of the instruction is in English. The choice of the model should be driven by your community and your student population. For example, communities where most of the population speaks Spanish, it would be wise to introduce a lot more English from the beginning. Therefore, a 50-50 model would work best. In a community where English is the dominant language, then a 90-10 model would be recommended. Here at eCentral, we have approximately 1,400 students whose language is Spanish. Therefore, an 80-20 model is the best fit. Here is a snapshot of the elementary instructional time in Spanish and English. Going left to right, you can see that beginning in pre-K up to first grade, the allocation of time for language of instruction is 80% in Spanish and 20% in English. This allocation of time gradually shifts as students progress grade levels. By the time students get to fourth grade, the language of instruction is divided equally, where 50% of the instruction is in Spanish and 50% of the instruction is in English. These are some of the practices that we use in our dual language classrooms. These practices enhance our students' learning and build their bilingual proficiency. These research-based sheltered instruction strategies are implemented nationally as well as locally by other districts alike. They are meant to support students' language acquisition through reading and writing and all content areas. You might be wondering if the dual language immersion program is for everyone. And the answer is yes. All students are invited to participate. Here are some key points to remember. Not all students will acquire language at the same frame of time. If students are struggling due to their cognitive development, they will struggle to acquire a second language. But this struggle is not due to the bilingual program. It is due to the student's cognitive ability. Brain research shows that learning a second language stimulates the use of parts of your brain that otherwise would remain dormant. That's why it's recommended that students learn to read music or be involved in different activities and not just daily routines. Learning a second language offers proven benefits for intelligence, memory, concentration, and lowered risks of dementia and Alzheimer's disease. Enrolling your student into the dual language immersion program is an important commitment, and we ask that you truly consider your decision. As a parent or guardian, we ask that you commit to continue reading with your child in their native language at home. We also ask that you support the program's instructional guidelines throughout the time they are enrolled in the program. Only in rare cases have parents questioned their participation or continuation with the program, and in these cases, we ask that parents meet with their campus administrators and state in a written form their decision to discontinue their participation. As a district, we commit to offering these programs at 2 elementary campuses, Oakcrest Elementary and Salado Elementary. Presently in our district, as we mentioned before, we offer dual language in grades pre-K through 5th grades. Since the law requires that for a program to be identified as a dual language immersion program, the language of instruction must remain 50-50. Therefore, in order for our students to continue on the Spanish trajectory, we offer a Spanish enrichment program at the secondary level. By following the Spanish enrichment program in 6th grade, students have the opportunity to receive an elective credit of foreign language. By continuing with the Spanish enrichment program in 9th grade, students will have the opportunity to earn college credit upon successful completion of their AP courses and exams. In the future, we aspire to offer Spanish in content areas such as math, social studies or history, and science, as well as in some elective courses, for example, choir, theater arts, and journalism. Some frequently asked questions about the program are, how will I know that my child will participate in the dual language program? The bilingual department will email or mail letters to all parents or guardians, informing them of the DLI program acceptance. Will the dual language program be based on a lottery system? A lottery it will only be held if needed for new English proficient students. Will transportation be provided? Yes, transportation will be provided for students if parents choose for them to ride the bus. As always, parents also have the choice to drop off or pick up their students at the campus. It's important to understand that while we are establishing numbers of students in classrooms, we may have to change your students at the beginning of the year. Our bilingual and ESL program staff consist of our director, Dr. Alma Rosa Martinez, our coordinator, Beatrice Jacqueline Zapata, a specialist, Mr. Gabriel Tajonar, our Title III clerk, Ms. Erika Escamilla, and our department secretary, Ms. Laura de la Garza. For more information about our department and our programs, please visit our website at www.ecisd.net. You have now reached the end of this presentation. You may complete the dual language intent form, which is part of the enrollment process. There are two options for completing the form. You can click on either the pre-kinder or kinder DLI intent form found on our ECISD website, or using a tablet or a mobile device, you can simply scan the QR code displayed on the screen. Thank you so much for your interest and attention to this presentation. We look forward to a great school year.